You could have capital gains taxes, you could have stamp duties, you could have wealth taxes, you could have deemed income taxes.
Because in Aotearoa we do have enough to go around, and the Green Party has a plan to fund our guaranteed minimum income over $1 million will be taxed at 1%. Wealth over $2 million will be taxed at 2%. What that means is that only the amount that you actually own counts towards this. So, if your house is worth, say, $1.2 million, you'll be taxed 1% of the $200,000 above $1 million, and your contribution will be $2,000 a year. If you're asset rich but income poor, there will be an option to defer payments until such time as an asset is sold. Now make no mistake, this is a transformational change.
We campaigned on a wealth tax in 2020, and that's only fair.
A wealth tax can be imposed on an individual's net wealth. Essentially, it sets out to ensure tax fairness.
More like a 1% type scenario, and you have to pay tax on your entire net worth, however that's defined by the government.
That definition is what's concerning Kiwis.
And it's different to actually having money coming in. So if you don't have cash flow, it's very difficult to pay these taxes.
The problem for me is how do we create the opportunity for everybody to become wealthy? And if our only idea, and if the government's only idea is how do we divide up the wealth that's already in New Zealand, then we're not facing the real problem. And I'll give you an example. People say you want to put a capital gains tax on housing. Well, the real problem is there's not enough houses for the number of people. And supply and demand, the price keeps going up. It doesn't help a young first home buyer to know that the person selling the house is paying more tax if the price keeps going up. So we've got to solve the real problems of supply and opportunity if we want a better country. The truth is that we're talking again about tall poppy syndrome in the tax code. How do we divide up the wealth that exists and put real pressure on retirees? I had this debate with Julianne Genter, one of Chloe's colleagues, a few years ago, and she just said to people in the room, you could get a reverse mortgage to pay our wealth tax, and you could hear the intake of breath and the oxygen sucked out of the room. I mean, that's the reality. It's unimaginative. It's not about how do we create more wealth, how do we become a wealthier country with more opportunity for young New Zealanders. It's about how do we take what is already there. That kind of short-term thinking gives no future to New Zealand, but it will mean that young New Zealanders seek a future elsewhere.